Savannah Guthrie, the poised co-anchor of The Today Show, has long been America's morning companion. With her bright smile, sharp questions, and effortless charm, she has guided viewers through world events, political debates, and personal stories alike. For over a decade, she has seemed untouchable, balancing career and family with grace. Yet behind the polished exterior lies a hidden history, one that predates her career in national television. A life carefully concealed for decades, shielded from family, colleagues, and the public. Now, circumstances have begun to unravel the secret Savannah has kept buried for more than 30 years. The vanishing of NY. The crisis began with a disappearance that rattled Savannah's world. Her mother, Nancy N.Y. Guthrie, an 84-year-old woman dependent on heart medication, vanished from her Tucson home. 10 days had passed with no leads. Crime scene tape fluttered in the desert breeze as detectives and FBI agents struggled for clues. Volunteers scoured the scrublands, drones hovered overhead, and the silence around the case became unnerving. On February 10th, 2026, the tension reached a breaking point. A phone call, unexpected and mysterious, would shatter the careful balance Savannah had maintained between her public persona and a hidden past. The call that changed everything. At 8:45 a.m., Savannah stepped onto her back patio to answer a call she assumed was from law enforcement. The voice on the other end, a woman in her mid-50s named Elena, immediately seized her attention. Elena spoke with urgent authority, referencing intimate details of Savannah's past that no outsider could know. Dates, locations, and even a personal locket brought the reality of Savannah's hidden life into the open. The connection was undeniable. Elena had been part of the world Savannah had worked so hard to keep secret, a world that had existed in parallel to her polished public image. A secret life, unveiled. By mid-morning, Savannah called an emergency family meeting. Alone with her siblings, Annie and Cameron, she revealed the truth she had kept for 30 years. Before the fame, before national television, she had led a double life. As a teenager in Tucson, she sought freedom beyond her mother's watchful eye. While she excelled in school and on the debate team, a part of her craved a life free from expectations. That yearning led her to Elena Ramirez, a bold, unapologetically queer artist and activist who introduced Savannah to a hidden world of creativity, activism, and self-discovery. The spark of Elena's youth group provided a haven for teens exploring their identities in secret. Savannah, curious and restless, stumbled upon the group in 1988. The bond between the two was instant, blossoming from friendship into something deeper. Elena encouraged Savannah to embrace a freer version of herself, one unconstrained by family rules. Through poetry, underground art, and activism, Savannah crafted an alter ego she called Clark, a persona living without scrutiny, embodying the freedom she had long been denied. For years, this double life existed quietly alongside her ascent in journalism, hidden even from those closest to her. Clark, the hidden identity. Clark became more than an escape. She was a necessary outlet, a personified rebellion against expectation. College, law school, and early journalism careers were all conducted under Savannah's public identity, while Clark thrived in secret. Weekend trips to Tucson, officially family visits, were often opportunities to reconnect with Elena and the world she had helped Savannah cultivate. The hidden life carried its own joys, challenges, and fears. Savannah had built it brick by brick, keeping it locked away to protect her mother's pride, her career trajectory, and the carefully constructed image of perfection she maintained for decades. Decades of silence. Over the years, Elena remained Savannah's confidant. Together, they shared dreams, fears, and a connection that transcended time. Yet the growing weight of Savannah's public persona forced silence. She could not reconcile Clark with the polished daughter her mother adored, or the professional image she had worked to build. Photos and letters, discreet meetings, and secret letters became the threads of a parallel life. And all this time, the world knew only Savannah Guthrie, the poised, composed, determined journalist. The Clark she carried inside remained invisible until now. the photo that spoke volumes. That night, alone on the desert porch, Savannah revisited the past. She scrolled through an old Polaroid of herself and Elena in a Tucson park taken decades ago. The image captured laughter, defiance, and raw youth, a stark contrast to the controlled professional she had become. The sight of that younger self, unburdened and alive, stirred emotions long suppressed. 30 years of secrecy, of careful hiding, now collided with her present reality. Clark, the persona she had nurtured in shadows, was no longer a secret she could protect. The past demanded acknowledgement. Elena returns. The next morning, Elena arrived under FBI escort. The years had etched lines into her face, streaks of gray threaded through dark hair, yet her presence was unmistakable. Their embrace was wordless, decades of emotion conveyed in a single hug. Savannah felt a release she had never allowed herself, a merging of the public persona with the hidden self. Elena's words were gentle but firm. Savannah no longer needed to hide. The decades of silence, the careful compartmentalization, could finally end. The reunion was both cathartic and unsettling, as the mysteries of the past collided with the urgency of her mother's disappearance. Clues from the past. Elena handed over a small envelope. Photographs, letters, and a handwritten list of names from their activist days. One name, Ricky Torres, was circled in red. A man long off the radar, recently spotted near Nancy Guthrie's home, became a person of interest. It wasn't confirmation of a link, but it offered a thread, a potential lead that might explain her mother's vanishing. For Savannah, it was a moment of clarity. She was no longer only the daughter, the journalist, or the public figure. She was Clark too, messy, real, and human, navigating a crisis shaped by shadows of her own past. Facing the unknown. As the sun dipped behind the Catalina Mountains, Savannah stood with Elena by her side. The desert wind carried a quiet stillness, broken only by whispered conversations and distant wildlife. In that moment, Savannah allowed herself to feel, to mourn, and to hope. She had been the perfect daughter, the polished journalist, the figure admired by millions. But now, she was simply herself. And maybe that authenticity, the courage to integrate her past with her present, was exactly what would guide them through the uncertainty surrounding NY's disappearance. A new beginning, Savannah's reunion with Elena marked a turning point. A life once compartmentalized, shadowed by fear and secrecy, was now being acknowledged openly. As the investigation continued, the threads of the past offered insight, emotional grounding, and perhaps answers to a mystery that had gripped her family. Savannah was learning to navigate her public and private selves simultaneously, no longer apologizing for either. In the fading light, with Elena at her side, and Clark finally free to exist alongside Savannah, she faced an uncertain future with newfound courage, hope, and the knowledge that authenticity might be the key to bringing her mother home.